Hey, welcome to our next episode. But we're going to be a go here, Jill. I should have warned you. There's a little intro-y thing. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Sober Not Sane. Subscribe, like, and watch us on YouTube. Listen on Spotify and Apple Podcast. You can find me on the internet. Don't confuse me with all the other Jeb things. And before we really get rolling, we want to thank Liz from the camera store who helps with the equipment so that you guys can actually see us. Jill Marie Robinson? Maria.
You got it.
Is it Maria or Marie?
It's Maria. I keep people guessing. I think it's fun.
Answer to anything.
Yeah,
That's
will.
what I answer to
will.
Jeff, Jim,
Hey, you. I get that a lot.
Bob. I tell people my name is Bob sometimes.
When you don't want them to know who you are?
No.
I'm Olivia when I don't want people to know.
Olivia?
I've got a few characters.
That's a good one.
behind the
You could
scenes.
pass as an Olivia.
And I'm British when I'm Olivia.
Yes.
No, not really.
I'm
messing with
Olivia.
you.
My number is 555. And if they go for that, they're too stupid to date anyway.
Yeah, that's a fake. It's a fake one.
Yeah, and you brought us pizza. Thank you very much.
I ate most of it, though.
I know. I got one piece here on my hotel room plate.
It's all you're allowed as well.
It is. I'm still having chewing issues.
Yeah.
So
how you feeling from all
if you
that?
see, if you see like stuff running down my face, just do the secret. You got
Yeah,
some.
let me know, too. I'm a mess sometimes. And I'm excited.
No, I find it amusing if you have stuff running. But thank you for the pizza.
Oh, Famoso. We'll ask them for promotion next time. Don't worry.
That's right. They should be delivering a pizza every week, damn it.
We're with Jeb Fink here, for goodness sake.
For
Everybody knows
pizza.
Jeb Fink.
And, you know, I was on the road for years and years and years, so God knows I love pizza.
Yeah.
It's the only thing open late at night.
You know, I had a good friend of mine named Ben Simbursky. And he was a connoisseur of pizza, and he passed away recently. And since his death, I have been eating an utmost of pizza and nachos.
He's somewhere watching
Out
you.
of that to being like, Ben, I got pizza today. Cool. huh?"
Damn it, she still gets pizza.
That was what he used to say to all his friends when he would want to hang out. He was, hey, do you want to get pizza?
Although, if there is a heaven, he's got 3 or 4 of his favorite pizza places right nearby.
Yeah, he's
That's
probably
my
in a better
theory.
place than we are.
I prefer to think of God as a kind and loving God as opposed to the really scary one my mom introduced me to as a child.
He just wants us to do what's right.
Can't you guys?
I don't know what's
Why
right anymore.
do you keep bothering me, people? So how would you explain what you do?
Oh my God.
Start with
as
one.
good as you could explain it to somebody else.
Publicitist?
Publicist, yes.
Yeah,
a
see,
publicist.
the mouth is not working right.
I'm self-proclaimed at everything. I'm like independent as heck and don't really work with anybody, but I get contracted out to do what I do.
And you work with films when they're in town, and
Yeah.
and you have a magazine.
I have a magazine, you guys. Okay, we're going to boast here. Guys, in 2015, I killed my life. I could have bought a house with how much money I spent, but I made sure that the magazine was for Calgary, for Alberta, and for Canadian artists who didn't have a place to go to share their stories without a huge, massive budget. You know, the magazine goes to chapters, and that's a big deal, right?
Yes.
It's big distribution.
I've heard of them, chapters.
I've heard of them.
They seem to be everywhere.
But nobody goes in them. I always tell my clients, like, let's just distribute the magazine in local stores and when you go to events and other things too, because how many people actually go into chapters to buy a product? You got to direct them to that. So I think this next issue, we're going to be putting more local advertisement for people to see it more within the community.
Well, you know what? You should bring some to the Crossroads Market to me.
What's
them
this
out.
Crossroads Market you talk about?
What is this
What
that
is
you
this?
speak of?
Yeah.
It's I have a pasta business there, which goes with pizza. But yeah, bring it by and I'll pass them out.
I know. We got to get you in the magazine. I want to know the real story behind you.
No,
and
no, you don't.
Nobody does the horrible crying. I like to post this kind of stuff once in a while on Facebook if it alarms people very much. But like the truth about the actual struggle of getting to wherever it is you get to in the end.
Or
Like,
wherever I was.
wherever you are now. But like what it actually took you, because that's what's inspirational, is for people to learn all the crazy, to know, are they willing to go that mile as well, you know?
Well, I had it was a short-lived, like go to business meetings and talk to people. And the gist of it was, we called it Every Business is Show Business. And I thought, if people on whatever kind of job you do worked as hard to succeed at their job as entertainers do, everybody would be these amazing people. And then I realized some people just don't give a shit about working hard. They're happy with the paycheck and a nice house and a wife and a dog and 2.3 kids.
That life requires a whole stability and planning and consistency that I do not have within me.
No?
It's impossible. Like, I have so many people who ask to work with me full time. I always tell them no. I just sound like a dink. But it's because of how I live my life in order to be available for, say, meeting Kevin Sorbo, like when he's randomly not random in town, but to me, random. And then I was available to go and create with them. And I take that like very seriously, where I enjoy being available to when somebody gives me a call. Because I want.
And it's for somebody, because I didn't know him by name.
No?
Saw the picture and went, oh, yeah. He's been in like a million things.
Yeah.
He's that great every guy.
He's a guy's guy. We just met him. I'm really hoping that Sam or their people respond to the email and you can get him on here. But maybe virtual, who knows? They're very nice people. Very nice.
You know what? We're going to be moving the studio. And by we, I mean I'll probably go watch Sean work really hard on setting it up and try not to not break anything.
That sounds like me.
But it'll be a little bit easier to get to those people. It'll be closer to downtown.
Yeah, that's why. Are you guys moving because of the show, kind of, or lifestyle?
Well, you know what? I mean, as every great podcast starts in a garage, that's where we are. And it's Jean's mom and dad's garage, and winter is coming upon us, and they're coming back from Brazil soon. Soon? Yeah, next week, they're going to want to park in here.
Oh, yeah.
They're not going to, especially, they've been in Brazil for quite a while.
Living the dream out there. They're going to be very miserable when they get back in the cold.
Yeah, they're coming back at the wrong time of year. You should call them and just say, look.
They actually love winter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, they're abnormal then. Good for you guys.
There's something wrong with your parents.
Maybe they like snowboarding or something. This is a fun sport. I almost broke my back doing that, though.
Yeah, no, I don't know.
You and me, Jeb, we're very similar, I think.
I can't do any
Salt
of that
of the
stuff.
earth. We like to have our feet on the ground.
I used to ski, but in 81 I broke my back.
That can happen, yeah.
Yeah, and then they put rods in, and then I was in another incident and broke the rods. So, that snowboarding, skiing, moving rapidly, a lot of that stuff's by the wayside for me.
Yeah.
But so tell me where people would recognize him from.
Okay.
There was something really
Sorbo
big.
was in Dramata, right? He's been a guy that like people hire forever. So when he was on Hercules, he was on there for quite a few years, more than 3 seasons.
Was he Hercules?
He was the first Hercules in the 90s. And was he ever hot stuff? Like, come
All
on,
the geeky
man.
guys.
He was so good.
He's still a good-looking guy.
Still good looking, but he's a married man now. So
I wasn't asking for that. I'm pretty comfortable, but
you can say it, but if a woman says it, it's like, oh. But I met his son recently too, just as adorable. He's young. He's like 20, so don't get too crazy, guys. But he's up and coming as well, and they're just like a little team together. And they've been in so many shows.
What were they doing
Amazon
in town?
Prime, Kevin Sorbo's name, a whole bunch of.
But that's where everything's being done now.
Well, the big Netflix whole thing, that release
but I mean,
is a whole thing.
through
so
that
Amazon's
platform.
easier to get on, yeah.
Right.
He's on every platform, right? But quite a few movies he's been a part of that are like independent through his production company.
Spell his last name.
Sorbo.
Okay, look
Sorbo.
up Zorbo.
I might have spelled that wrong. I don't know. It's
He's
right.
gonna pop up.
It's going to pop up.
There's not going to be a lot of them out there. And you go, oh, right, that guy.
But that's the kind of people I get to work with sometimes. With what I've built in the last like decade, people come to me. They called me actually. No big deal. I met them last time they came here for a movie, and then had bothered them like a lot. Believe me, emailed them so much to try to keep in contact, and then they remembered me when they came to town as a media source. And I planned a whole media day with them. It was extravagant.
Yeah, you had
I'm here
quite
with
the setup.
Brought It Out with the Standout Productions helped as well.
We couldn't make it. It was right
I
in the
know.
middle
I
of
invited you.
our work days.
It was so hectic. Honestly, probably best we separated it. But you would have got to meet him then. That's why I kind of said, why don't you come? But I always find when you meet the stars, that's when you actually get to work with them. When you just fan out on them and doing it this way, you're never going to really like get to connect because they keep you at a fan level or whatever.
Yeah. When I did the movie show with Pyramid, I was like terrible because I didn't really. It's like, all right, yeah, you're an actor, no big deal.
Yeah.
And I can't remember who it was, but we finished the interview. Would you like a picture together? No, thanks.
Oh, that's the worst you can say to a celebrity. They would like to be treated properly, you know.
They asked me if I would like a picture.
Oh, and you said no.
And she was giving pictures with everybody. It was just something she did. Mm-hmm. And I said, no, thank you. And I thought, well, that's pretty shitty.
It's not shitty. It's just the way people feel. But when you're in that mindset, hun, when you're doing an interview, they want to do that kind of stuff.
Some of them do. Some of them want you to finish your interview and get the hell away from them.
And that's
They
horrible.
hate junkets. They got to answer the same question for 10 hours. Mm. You know, and it's hard.
It is a lot of work doing.
Yeah.
It's like being on set, doing interviews.
Yeah. How do you get a question they haven't been asked?
You know, every time somebody will ask even the same question, from that energy that they're giving it or their connection that they have, you will get a different answer. And you know, I know that because a lot of the time in the magazine, I do a big spread with a really nice photographer, and I ask the same questions to them. Exactly. Each person, like 30, 40 people, what their dream is, and I get a different answer every time.
Yeah?
Yeah. So maybe the interviewer looks like they're not thinking, but I think how most people think is they want to know, like, where you started, what you're doing, how you're feeling, where you're going. That's like the main hit points for everything, right? What you have coming out. But you get a different answer every time you ask somebody.
Yeah, you know what? I rarely wrote questions.
No?
Like, do you put everything together and you're all prepared? Are you one of those smart people?
I sometimes do, but a lot of the time I'll work with somebody that I'm already a big fan of. And yeah, I will think in my mind.
You don't really have to.
I'll play in my mind what like in the shower or something, or what I want to say to them, you know, like I'll play it over in my head and kind of dream it the night before. A lot of the time is kind of manifesting it a little bit.
Really?
Well, I don't know. It was a situation that he had come like 3 years ago filming, and some good friends of mine, Donna Britnell, Melissa Cambridge, and Chris Tuddy. You might know Chris
I know
Tuddy.
Chris.
I work with him in the
I know the
magazine.
other
He came and
names too, but I know Chris.
Oh, do you? Oh, perfect. Yep. Well, they've been in our film group of independent artists, and Chris always has been the one that has a lot of celebrity friends and introduces us. So kind of through him, we met Kevin a little bit. And so when he came back, I said, do you want to interview him, like be the celebrity interviewer or whatever? I had another gal, Quinn Teachma, who's my next cover star, and she also interviewed him as well. She wanted to do it. So
Yeah.
yeah. Everyone wants to meet a celebrity, but it's kind of like, it's not just about celebrity for me. It's like they're people, they've worked so hard to get there. They're an inspiration to me. And also, if they're a big name, then everybody wants to know what they're up to. And my flair of how I do my magazine is very different than anybody. So different. I don't know what to say about it. It's like more about the aesthetic.
And I'm assuming it's online too.
It's online.
How do you find it online?
You Google like the website, imherewithmag.com, and I have all my podcasts, all my past interviews. I have everything on there, so people can really dive in and see what's up. I have a lot of content. You'd be on there for a while.
Yeah, I looked. You know what? I looked at it online, and I was looking. I had it on an iPad, and I'm 63 and couldn't find my glasses, so I didn't read
Perfect. It's
a
not
lot
for
of it.
reading
But
anyway.
it's slick.
Lot
It
of-
looks great.
Pictures.
Yeah.
Beautiful photography is what I was really inspired by people like Jordan Gooden, who really helped me elevate my mindset of wanting to really create beautiful photography and cinematography. And so I'm kind of always trying to do a better job each time and connect and work with like the top, you know?
Yeah.
As much as I can, that's organic. I don't just go and chase people. I have to really have known of them and wanted to. Like, I get thrown people every day from CBC. I do PR
Yeah.
work with them.
Yeah.
And so that's, I get such a
Like they're on airs or people that they're working with, because they're doing a lot of stuff for Gem, I think.
Yeah, everything that they have on CBC Gem, they have said, here, promote it. I just don't have all the time in the world to, I'm only one person.
And there's only so many pages.
My parents were journalists. So that's kind of how I got into it, and I work so much like my dad as well, because he used to work in the night because he had to as a father, and doing extra work in the night articles, and I like do the exact same thing as him these days. But my parents think I'm kind of crazy for doing what I do, but I know they're proud of me or whatever. But they, I don't have a degree, that's for sure. I just hire lots of good people around me to help.
I finished high school.
Okay.
Had no interest in
Extra school.
everybody. Are you going to go to college? Why? I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go make money. You go crank up 120 grand in
At a desk.
debt.
Yeah.
No, debt to go to college to try to figure out how to pay it off.
That too, yeah.
And then realize after 4 years you just fucking hate what you're doing.
Yeah, school. That's all. I encourage kids to go to school because in Romania, where I'm from, there's not that availability as much. And
Right.
I can see the difference that children who don't go or adults that don't go, they don't really know the general stuff about the world. And, all the stuff that we learn about throughout school that we don't even care about. Like, I literally don't remember a thing in school except for being, like, bullied and cute boys that I used to chase around the hallways. Like, trying to
And that was in here or in Romania?
I've been here for, like, 26 years.
Okay.
Yeah. So since I was like 3, I've been in Canada.
Okay.
Yeah.
Slick way to find out how old you are without asking, hey?
Yeah. Don't ask a girl. Don't ask a girl.
29.
Yes, sure. We'll go with that. Yeah. 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 In and around there.
In and around
In
there?
and around there. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
that's a fair age to be.
Well, better get.
So
my
you
stuff
were
together now.
born in Romania, and how did you get to Canada?
It's a beautiful story of hell and back for my dad. He just randomly found me in Romania. There was a fall of communism in like the
Yep.
90s or whatever. And
So was he there as a journalist?
Well, he was a journalist, right? But
But I mean, is that why he was there?
like it was such a news thing of kids being adopted. It was like the thing in
Oh, okay.
the media at the time. And so he went there, flew there, and just kind of randomly found me in a beautiful way. So that's a whole thing, every day I'm still trying to find who I am because I had just found my birth family. So now,
Oh, really?
Last year I went actually and met all of them, and they're my whole life now.
In Romania?
Yeah. It's like a movie, guys. You can't even believe it. Like nobody goes.
So what do
through
they
this.
say after this? Like, hey, we were wondering where you went.
It was more of like we love you, and we've always been wanting you, and we changed your name. We were trying to find you, and for me, I didn't know their name until I was at the age that I found them. I didn't even know my parents' real names. Like my parents never told me for some reason, or they didn't remember or something. And then when I actually did find them, I just found them off Facebook. The most simple thing. I'm on Facebook every day of my life.
That's the first good
Can you
thing
imagine?
Facebook has done, right there.
Well, as soon as I found her name, I Googled it, and it looked pretty similar to me, I'd say. Garafita, my mom.
Garafita.
It means flower.
It means flower.
Interesting
Really?
name, yeah. They have very different names out there, yeah.
Yeah, flower is more flowery.
Yeah, it's Garafita. Yeah, it's very different.
Sounds She's not an angry person, though.
She kind of looks angry sometimes. She's been through a lot, but no, she's a
would
very
think.
sweet woman that just takes care of her family every day.
So this might be a weird question, but your adopted family, the family that brought you here and raised you,
Yeah.
how did they feel when you were going to go to Romania and meet the biological group?
You know, in all honesty, you know, like I love them, they love me very much, but we don't see eye to eye on everything. So my personality is very different. So when I actually met my parents, I felt like really good about myself from that. A
Right.
bit of a don't be like this, fit into Canada, be normal, don't have ADD, all the things.
Don't have
Yeah,
ADD.
take your pills, yeah.
Yeah, somebody told me that, so I sat up all night thinking about it. That would be,
We do that, yeah.
and write lists of why I have ADD. You know, like,
Well, malnutrition or something happens when you're young. I don't know what it is, guys. But feeling like I'm, you know, look like somebody else or whatever. It's been like a whole thing finding myself. And I think myself has been so weird in the last few years because of it. And like the missing them, you know,
Yeah.
imagine you didn't have family, you know, to
you got a
turn to
piece
even in
that,
Canada.
well, you did, but
Lost them,
you
sort
didn't
of.
have the genetic connection.
But as soon as we met, it was like, we're family.
Yeah?
They embraced me extremely, and I really should be there now with them, but it's been hard with COVID and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you wouldn't be here if you weren't there.
Well, I would be dead.
And I wouldn't have pizza.
You wouldn't have the pizza that the
You have to
crappy
look
pizza I
at
brought
how
you.
it's good for me, I think is what I'm self-centeredly trying to say.
So imagine that, you know, like a girl from Romania coming, and then now I'm sitting here with you because I used to watch you on TV when I was a kid.
I get that a lot, and it makes me feel
I
older
know, it must
every
be.
time I hear it.
I'm so sorry. I wasn't that young when I was watching you. It was like mid-teens. Does that help?
No, not really.
Sorry.
I used to work on cruise ships, and the dancers that worked in the show, a lot of them come out of the Young Canadians because it's a really good training program. And I would have these kids come up to me and go, "Hey, you were on the Grandstand show the same year that I was in Young Canadians. Do you remember me?" And I'm like, kind of creepy if I did, wouldn't it? Like,
Yeah, totally.
yeah, that's
Remember those blue eyes, girlfriend?
yeah, that's a no-go. That's not that you would never want to know. But it's so funny because no matter what, I mean, there's still, to me, kids.
Yeah. Everybody's
You know.
a kid, yeah.
Yeah.
Art.
Once again, now you're kicking me with my own age. It is, though, because that's, I think of, I mean, you're younger enough to, I mean, my oldest child is 42.
Oh, okay.
So, I mean, you would be my youngest daughter if you were my daughter.
Nice.
But that would make me Romanian, and I'm not.
You wouldn't want me to be your daughter. I'm a terrible daughter.
Oh,
You wouldn't-
I got some contestants for Terrible Daughter.
Yeah?
Love them. But you know what it is?
You see
I mean, this
everything
is
about
the name of the show, Sober Not Sane, so you know the gist of
Yep.
who I have been in my past. And it occurred to me that I was lecturing one of my children, and in midst of still being in full using mode, and lecturing them, basically saying, "How dare you be exactly like me?" And they were doing all the same things that I had done at that age.
Yeah.
But I wanted them to stop.
To not go through that.
No, I had a hell of a good time. I had a great time.
See, that's what's funny about your story about it, is that you're like own it. And I feel like once you like own it the way you've done very publicly, how can people judge you? You know what I mean?
Oh, they
Like,
still do.
But you know what I'm saying? When you own something in life, like this is who I am, then you're like, oh,
No
okay,
pride,
I
no
guess
shame.
so. Yeah.
You know what? Like somebody will say something even now to me, and it'll be like, "Yeah, I got really drunk with you at this bar." Yeah, everybody's got that story, buddy. It's like Ralph Klein. I had a beer with Ralph Klein.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
did all of Alberta.
You're like, you had a drink with me, probably. He came up to me when I was sitting there. Probably, that's
I was
probably most of the gist.
I was pretty quiet. I didn't really. I was like a. I wouldn't say that I was a closet drinker. I preferred to, the Thorogood song, "I Drink Alone."
Yeah, you didn't want everyone to know that that's what you needed.
I didn't, to a level, honestly, who I didn't want to know? My family. I
Yeah.
didn't want to embarrass my family, which you end up ultimately doing anyway.
And they stop you as well, too. Because if you want to just keep doing what you're doing, right?
Oh, I
As
did
we
for
do.
years.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's the thing, when you're on the road and not home a lot.
Yeah. But that's probably why you did it, because you were sad. And didn't feel like maybe you had the support you needed or something.
Well, thanks, my little enabler.
Maybe.
Just
I
make
don't
up
know.
a story for me.
I don't know. Maybe.
I think I was an addict.
Yeah.
I think I was kind of always an addict.
And it started young, right?
Yeah. And
Yeah.
you said you don't drink at all.
No, believe me, I tried to be cool back in the day and drink and smoke cigarettes and stuff, but no, I can't handle that stuff. For me, makes me very ill. Like literally, I get so sick violently.
Honestly, bit of a godsend for you,
For me, it saves a lot of money.
especially in that industry.
Yeah, there's a lot of crazy stuff that happens in film when
Isn't
everybody's
there?
wasted. Yeah.
That nobody really talks about.
No, I wouldn't. No.
I saw today on, it was Ricky Gervais did a Weinstein joke
Oh,
on,
very tasteful.
I think, the Golden Globes. And they start booing him. He goes, "Don't boo me. You did it. You all played along." And they played a tape of all of these award winners thanking the Weinstein brothers.
Yeah, because they made them, though, like they're just like turning this around a little bit. But yeah.
Yeah, and it's, at a certain point, you like you say, you got to own it and go, ugh, I did some really stupid shit.
Don't we all, though? Like, I think that the mistakes
I
that
hope
we
so.
make us realize that that's not the life and path that we want to go. So it's like,
Eventually, I was, I
But if
think,
we don't
55,
know-
56 when I...
what really got you to actually change your life? That's what I always wonder. When are people actually going to flip the switch and go, okay, my actions every day need to change?
Honestly, I had totally crashed my second marriage to, somebody I really loved and still do, and my daughter, and wrecked all of it because I couldn't get my shit together. So it was like, takes a long time for me
Rebuild.
anyway. Oh yeah, I had a year of relapse that was unbelievable, and it's just the way it goes sometimes.
Yeah, it's always something pushes us in that direction, though. A lot of people who are sober,
you know what?
like, they love being sober and thinking in a not altered mind or whatever. But I think if you have you can't organize yourself, you sometimes need to numb yourself. You know what I mean? Not be in your head and thinking.
Oh, I didn't want to have to think about anything.
No.
And my dad was a drinker, and my mom was definitely not. And I could have followed mom.
That wouldn't have been as fun, though.
No, and I got a half sister. I got a full sister and a half sister, and everybody's in the club.
Oh, yeah.
So I have to blow my nose.
Blow
so
your nose.
talk on your own.
Okay, here I'm talking, you guys. I will say I'm really excited to be on your show today.
Well, thank you.
It's unexpected to be on your show. One of your first guests.
Yes.
But I saw your episode with Matt.
Yes.
He is so cool. I don't actually know Matt at all.
He was quite the surprise for me.
Yeah, he's right. He's getting up there as a producer. Like I'm excited for his project Jonesin.
One of the actors who happens to be female. I don't even know how to say that anymore. But she won
Female
in an award in the New York Film Festival.
Oh, cool! From that
From
project.
Jonesin.
Yeah.
Jonesin, yeah.
Okay, Matt, if you're hearing, I want to be in your next project.
Hey, Matt, if
Good
you're
for him.
listening, I can't act. I'm really bad at it.
He would choose you before me, believe me. You got such good presence on camera.
I did a movie of the week once. I had 2 lines. And the guy, you know what? The guy put me in it because he heard me on a radio interview.
Did he use you as Jeb Fink though? You got to play
No,
yourself?
just a snotty bastard on a bus.
Oh, that's all he gave you? Just 2 lines? Oh, God.
So it was the only part I had time to do.
Oh, okay. Well, good for you. Can I go see any of your stuff?
It was a movie of the week.
Yeah. Those are
So
big.
you probably look it up. I doubt that.
I'm gonna look you up more. I will.
I doubt that I made it on the YouTube. Let's put that guy. He said 2 lines.
You
And
still
I was
went to the
there
premiere.
all day. This is what I didn't get. I was there all frickin' day for 2 lines.
Yeah, Shut Up and Wait is the name of the game in film.
And you know, I think what I like more about stand-up is you go and you do your show, you get an immediate response. Yes,
instant
no,
gratification.
maybe, hated that, love this, hated this, love that. And that whole doing a movie thing, do you know the biggest reward I got from it?
No.
My granddaughter, Savannah, called me and she said, Papa, you were in my TV today.
Yeah, that's what they like.
Yeah, so she had seen, they made a point of watching the movie so that she could see me on TV.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's what I like about it. Whenever I hear anyone having success and their parents and their family say they're proud of them, that's one of the things that make me most proud to sit and be doing all the work I do. Like with covers, it's kind of like a movie. Every
Yeah.
issue is a movie, that series or that time frame in life and what people are up to in our circle. And it's just like an honor to be able to share people's stories and make people's families like proud of each other, you know? I think that's something.
And you know what? It's
really
an
important
art
to
to
me.
get them to share it.
Oh, I push them. I yell at them. I tell them, you better. No. Usually when somebody's proud of something, they want to share it.
Yeah.
Yeah, depending. But not everybody wants to share stuff on social media. And like I'm shying away from wanting to show everything about my life. I've gotten rid of my social media many times.
Really, I've never done that. I
Creeps.
just
There's
ignore
so
it.
many creeps out there. Stalkers and haters. And I just, sometimes they'll make me feel bad about what I'm doing or what I look like in the end. Like, I think people don't realize, like, when you first started, say, your comedy career, did you ever think that you'd be here where you are now and everyone know about your life? No, you don't go
I
into
didn't
it
plan
knowing
anything.
nothing.
I
Yeah.
didn't plan anything in my life.
How could you? Well,
No, I didn't.
just walked with the flow, eh?
You know what? It was really fun, and I started doing it. It paid well, and I was, I had a knack for it.
What was your first gig, like, ever?
Paid gig or
Both.
I worked at the first thing that I did was the Spokane comedy competition, and I was working at a Jiffy Stop gas station, and this guy he came in all the time, and he was really funny. Like he delivered these local papers, just a little sit on the newsstand kind of thing, and. He would sit there and watch me, and if I didn't like the look of the guy, I would turn his pump on and off until he came in and yelled at me. And I go, "It's on. I don't know what your problem is."
Just mess up with his day.
Yeah. Just to be a shithead.
Yeah.
And he said, "You know what? I'm working with these guys. They're doing a comedy thing. You should come and do stand-up." I said,
okay.
"Well, I've never done it before." And he goes, "Oh, I don't think it's going to matter." And... yeah, and actually, me and another guy from Portland, Oregon, Johnny Bagpipes Johnson.
Oh, no. Have I heard this before? Yeah.
Do you know him?
I think I've heard of this name yet.
Yeah. So, well, he plays the bagpipes. It's kind of hard to miss him on a comedy stage. We were both in it, and he had not been doing comedy long. And we both did really well and just sort of went, hey, this is really easy. Mm-hmm. Why work?
Yeah. But that in itself, it's work, and but you love doing it, right? So it's not as grueling to do it. Yeah.
No, you must feel that way about your projects.
Yeah, it's like for me, if there's money involved, it's like I'm far away from it, or like, it's like the worst thing for me, you guys. A lot of the time, my career has been sacrifice after sacrifice to do what I do. You'd think with somebody of the caliber of people that I surround myself with and have worked with that I'd be having my own big house and mansion, but not yet. I'm still putting everything I have into my business and trying to help, people hear about cool things that are happening. So I feel like, even when
if somebody's out there listening,
Someone's
they go to the website, look at your stuff, and say, "Oh, that's really great. I'd like to advertise my business in there." Do you do that?
yeah, totally.
That's where the money comes from.
I know it's different, with when I do PR with people that I'll take them on and they'll see what I'm up to in my life and say, "Jill, I would love to be along your ride for a little bit because you seem to meet all the cool people that's happening and seem to be able to reach out to them." And some people think that's really a value, but I don't really make money from that. I make money from results of people getting on TV shows or big magazines, and they have to pay for it. But kind of like a structure. There's not so much of this here in
but
Calgary.
you know how important that is to.
It's half of it.
I always said, if we were going to Montreal for the festival, I said we're going to Montreal. And it would be me, my wife, our daughter, Nancy, who is managing me, sometimes one of her kids. It was a group effort. And I really, honestly, I'll let you know, as the product, the pony that people are riding, I have the fun job. Everyone, what you do with the publicity and stuff is real work.
But it's fun too. I'm good at it when I put my mind to it and take it serious. Yeah, I try once in a while.
It's an art.
It's also getting people all together. I think that's one of my real skills. Is people say "What does she do?" And I go, "I don't even know you guys. I'm just here for a good time. If you call me, I'll do whatever you want me to do. Really, within reason, guys." But I think what I'm trying to do nowadays, being on your show, sharing, I wanted to really let people know that there's a new issue coming out and how hard we've been working. And
Bret Hart?
No, that was last issue. We had Bret Hart on the last cover. And,
You said latest when you sent it, so I was assuming it was...
It is the latest one that was out, I guess. Yeah. That was the latest.
So there's an interview in there with him?
Yeah, we did a whole story. Got to meet him quite a few times throughout the process of it, and he's such a good guy. I love the people I work with the most in life. They're really fun to collaborate and get the message out of whatever people want to talk about. There was I kind of meet people randomly. It's not really so calculated. If they're in town or something, I'll get introduced to them or something happens usually. But that's how that happens. I don't really sought them out as much as you'd think as I would. I'm not chasing the stars ever. I want it to be very organic within the network I have, because once you chase them, it's a different game.
But wouldn't the key for you be to have people in place that when somebody comes to town and they say, "I'm looking for somebody to set this up," and they go, "I got the person"?
Well, there's other PR teams that do that here. I'm very independent with my own magazine, I guess. There's Keep Alberta Rolling guys, and they have a connection with ACTRA and put out interviews of big people too. But I'm kind of on my own a little bit. Each production company has their own PR team, and the movie only has their own. I'm working with a lady, Jessica, on a new project of Kevin's, and she's their publicist, but I did a bunch of media for them, and she's gonna help me put it together and all the things. So I don't know how it truly works for that, but how I do my business, it's a bit.
How do you quantify that?
Depends, come talk to me and I'll tell you.
Yeah, but you know what I mean? It's sort of actually one of my granddaughters, I come out of the basement and I got a full suit on and I was going to do a corporate show. Mm-hmm. And she said, "How come you're all dressed up?" And I said, "I'm going to work." And she said, "My mommy says you don't work. All you do is talk in bars." Yeah, that's
To
work.
them, that's what it looks like, I guess.
Yeah, from the outside.
Which is so insulting, you guys, because the art of what we're doing, even getting up on that stage, being vulnerable, that's a whole thing that people who are not artists can't do.
Yeah. You know, we're talking about the
personality
acting, and when I watch somebody, like I can watch a film for one actor and just watch that performance throughout and sort of ignore what I don't like
Okay.
and just enjoy that person. And it amazes me. Somebody asked me one time, well, can you act? Well, I can, but the character's got to be a lot like me. And I can. I mean, I can modify
fun.
myself a little bit.
But it's fun playing somebody else. Imagine you didn't have to be you for a minute. Wouldn't that be fun? That's what I like
I
about
have
acting the
adapted to not being me in many situations.
most. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Where our initial instinct or what we think and just like having a different backstory of who we are could change a lot of it.
But how do you get that mentality?
You just play.
Somebody, you know what? Somebody told me, a writer, we were talking to writers in LA, and we had something that was on the go that didn't happen, but we were looking for showrunners. And he had worked on Frasier. And he said it's the easiest job I ever had because the parts, the actors, the characters were so defined. All they had to do was think of the situation. And once they had the situation, each of those characters would only react the way they would react.
Yeah. So that's how they were casted properly then. That's what it means
Yeah.
when you cast it out right on the head because like they are that person embodied. They don't actually have to really act. They just say the lines with that situation and you just believe them because that nerdy guy is supposed to be that nerdy guy, like Niall or whatever. So imagine Frasier was playing Niall. It wouldn't come off the same.
Niles was Niles.
Yeah.
But that's the death of you, right? Like if you have such a defining character,
Forever you're
then when
Niles,
do you
yep.
get another part? And I'll tell you, Niles was in another show called The Powers to Be. And he played this neurotic, suicidal son-in-law of a senator. And I watched that show to watch him drop lines. Like he just had these lines and he just laid them out.
Yeah.
And they were supposed to be going somewhere. And this is a guy that's suicidal. And they're in Washington, D.C., and it's really storming and cold. And the mother-in-law says, put on your coat, you'll catch your death. And he looks at her and says, from your lips to God's ears. And it's just like, wow. Just, whew, there you go. There's the capper for this scene.
You either have it or you don't.
Yeah.
And that's what people see from the people that make it big, is that they just have that confidence to create and share with people. It's not so like, oh, I'm scared, guys. I'm just going to be in the corner. Like, as an artist, sure, we need people like that on TV as well, too. But to make an impact, like, you know, like The Rock or something, how they do, they just are bigger than life, you know, to inspire everybody.
That guy kicked in so many doors to get to where he ended up. It was
apparently wasn't easy for him either, yeah.
No, he was perhaps the most horrendous football player in the history.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah. And here he's this giant, and he's really athletic, but just something wasn't there.
Okay.
But
Then he went into wrestling.
I find him like wickedly lovable on camera.
Seems like a very nice guy, yeah. Especially
Yeah.
on his social media. I just watched his new movie or whatever, but exactly who I'm talking about. Like somebody who's going to make an impact on the world and share who they are and make those grand statements that we can all really connect with too.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love this kind of people like Oprah when she's, you know, or when they're doing their awards and they say something that's really meaningful and the times have changed, ladies, and all the things. I just feel like that's what I want to do down the road, is like build myself up to being somebody that can really help people.
See, and I find Oprah deeply full of shit.
A lot of people want to say some things, yeah.
You know what I said?
I love her dearly, but yeah.
Well, that's good. Everybody needs to be loved. But you know the thing to me, somebody was telling me, oh, she really speaks to the people and everything. And this is when she
She's
first
built
had her
that.
talk show.
She's built that, though.
Yeah, and I
being
said,
around for so
here's
long.
the thing. She's doing so much good for people. Look at her audience. They're all rich white people from Chicago.
Oh,
And there wasn't a lot of multiculturalism in her audience,
yeah, they
which
didn't
I found
support her. That's so weird.
isn't, yeah, but why is that?
Because that's what was being marketed to probably when they first started, the channel that they were on or something maybe.
Yeah, it could be, or, you know, maybe
Yeah, it was a
her.
different era back then, that's for sure.
Oh,
Nowadays, it's like
it
scary
hasn't
to say
gotten
one
better.
word. I don't know what to say to anybody in case I make some mistake that could end my career. There's been a few things in the media of people that say things that is not on side anymore, and it's a huge repercussion.
Well, kind of a general rule: don't touch girls that don't want to be touched. That's a. You can write these down if you want. So that's kind of a big one, and that seems to
You'd
be an
think that would
issue.
be.
But what do you think that is in Hollywood? Is it like just
Entitlement and
pure
power.
ego?
It's a power, you know. I've experienced stuff like that myself, and when you want to like talk openly about with them about what are you trying to do here? They want to just like say like, well, if you're my girlfriend, I would help you in your career. And I've been told by some very, very big people in the industry that that is a way to go to make it. And if you don't, then you'll never make it. And that's just like something that I'm not going to trade my body for success kind of thing. But women have done it, as we've seen in life, and
Oh, yeah.
pressured to it. And then they have to live with that feeling of their success being done from something else, not the success of them doing that. And I don't want to go through that. Like, I really watch
But
all the women talk
some
about
of the
that, and it
women on the
scares me.
Weinstein list
All of
are
them, hon.
hugely talented.
But so many, anyone that was in his film, it seemed like he was making them, one person from it at least do that. Like, I've been
But
in
they
that
were,
situation.
but no matter what, they were still almost, you know, one for one, were just really talented, and theoretically they should have made it no matter what.
Yeah, but
I
then
mean,
he pushed them
obviously
to do
they
it
shouldn't
anyway,
have to do
out of
that.
his being attracted. But it's also having like a notch on your belt. I asked a guy who's kind of like that one time about it. I said, "Why is it like this? You know that for a woman we have to be so single and sexy, and then maybe try with you or something in order for you to open a door." When a man comes into the room and you give him the job, he doesn't have to take his pants off to get the job. How
Sometimes.
unfair is that? Who knows?
Sometimes,
Maybe
well, for sure.
has that happened with men and
Oh, yeah, for
the
sure.
So you know what I'm saying? That
Yeah.
that feeling of like not being able to be proud that you made it from what you love to do, that eats people up inside as well. But then you also think on the other spectrum, if I would have done it, do you think I would have got that role? And then you kick yourself like, oh, maybe I should have. And then you think to yourself, what? Of course I don't want to do that. But I've seen people do that. Like literally I've had people tell me, well, if you're not going to sleep with me, then well, just give it to your girlfriend who's going to sleep with me. And then I saw what's going to happen with her and nothing. You know, so it's kind of like,
Yeah.
it seems very like this type of dude is going to play that carrot. And anyone who's going to trade that for that, I think it's not so honorable, you know, and they're using the system and their power.
Yeah.
And hey, some people are into that. And so great, do that if that works for you. But know that it actually hurts the people in the end, feeling like, oh, I only made it because of that.
Well, it's you know, I don't know what's wrong
I don't
with
think
me
they
in,
care at the
in
time,
that
though.
realm, but that's just never been my thing.
No.
And I
Good
was
job.
I was somewhere. Well, I was somewhere, and somebody was talking to me after a show, and I said, you know, very nice to meet you. Have a nice night. And it was time to go to my hotel room alone, and
Yeah.
the other comic goes, "You could have slept with her," and I said, "Yeah, but it doesn't mean you have to." You know, it's like, you know, I'm married. Well, yeah, all the guys are married.
Yeah, this is a thing. Yeah. Ugh. I don't, you know, that is one thing from interviewing a lot of powerful people in my day is that it doesn't necessarily mean like how much money you have or how much success. I mean, maybe this is like reiterated a lot, but the people that are happy are the ones that have family that are there for them and support them at home. It's a huge thing, even in my life, not having a family myself in that way. Yet. That is a huge downfall mentally for me, where I'm just always sad that I don't have anyone to celebrate with. I don't have like, that at home kind of thing. And it's that can affect you and make you just chase it in a weird way. And I think maybe that's something too, because like the people I'll interview, maybe who are like that, are single.
Right.
And I feel like being single is not bad. It's actually a wonderful thing sometimes, but everybody needs love. Like that's the main message in life, you guys. Is that when somebody's happy inside, they're not that weird outside. Maybe their personality sure is what it is, but they're not a bad person to anybody. So
however, if you find two really weird people,
can mesh well together.
Really well.
But you know what I mean? Like when you're a good person and mean nothing but good for other people. I think hurt people or whatever, that whole thing. Yeah.
And see, I do have a tendency to be leery of someone that seems too nice.
Oh, those people are the ones that got me too. The Bruin,
there's something wrong with that guy.
The kettle will spill at some point. Yeah. I like when people are just like themselves with me, and then I know exactly what I'm getting myself into. Like when you see their bad side and their good, and you're like, okay, I can handle that, or you can't, or whatever you feel.
Well, I think that our phone conversation when I was driving
I couldn't even hear you on that.
That was
terrible quality.
Obviously, a treat for anyone that gets to ride in a car with me. And I think there's more. That guy's a fucking idiot per kilometer than probably most drivers in town.
Why do you say that?
I'm better now. I used to be a really angry, aggressive driver.
Okay, yeah. Are you going to come out and get mad at them?
Yeah, and I got to where if I had a meeting downtown, I would take the train. Because by the time I got there driving, I was so angry, I would fuck up the meeting.
Yeah.
Because I was still mad at some guy that cut me off or probably didn't actually cut me off. And
but what that was from something else. You getting angry about things is like a personality trait of like your temper, of what you can handle, or controlling ourselves and our emotions. Like I think people who are abusing as well, our mental state, but like their mental state is not always like they're not themselves to behave the way they would when they're feeling happy. So it's just like, sometimes you can't blame somebody when they're upset, because the spiral will go, or they dysfunctionate their whole day from it, probably. I do that a lot.
You know what? I have told more than one person, what's sad is you're going to leave here, and I'm going to be away from you, and you're going to be with you all day. You got nowhere to go. That is
a thing to say to somebody that's hurting you, and to say, well, at least I don't have to be you, and can sleep at night properly.
I can walk away.
Yeah, that's cool. So you're a good person. I can tell you are.
I'm a good person deep down. I've had a hard time sharing that.
Well, I'm sharing it for you, Jeb. I'm here with
Well, so far, I feel like I owe you for a therapy session. But
am I like that? Oh, I love getting deep into what makes somebody tick, and really being friends with somebody and talking to them in this way about like, is there something maybe I can like highlight to you that maybe think about later and go, you know what? Yeah, if she thinks I'm cool, okay. Like sometimes it takes somebody from outside.
Right.
Like how many people come to you and said mean things to you, right? That makes you think this kind of way about yourself, that I'm bad or something. But I feel like, no, man, like what you say is hilarious. You're a comedian. And if people don't realize that, like, I can't remember his name. I'm feeling so stupid. He's a black artist that just put his stuff out, and he was talking about transsexuals or something. And just completely, Dave Chappelle. And like I watched it because I really wanted to know. I've got some friends who are trans. I've got some friends who are, in the LGBTQ and all the things. So I was kind of like, how bad is it, Dave? Like, come on, let's see. How bad? And I watched it, and I was just like, But in the end, he's just a comedian. Like, yes, it's in bad taste. He's talking about that stuff at this time. But come on, guys, how can you hurt him this bad to ruin his career when that's his job as an entertainer?
You're not going to
push
ruin
the
his
envelope.
career.
Well, they wanted to take it down, and now he's taking a break from his career from it, or wanted to before or something.
Honestly, he does that often.
It makes us want him even more. But I'm just saying, like, not standing up for anything, but I'm just saying, like, for you and how people are in entertainment, like, there's so many lines that are so crossed being an entertainer.
You can't, you know what?
It's not normal, this lifestyle of what we're allowed to do, what we're allowed to say, relationships we're allowed to have.
Well, the trans, the trans thing is just, I think part of the issue is people can't comprehend it.
Yeah,
They're
they
unable
want to experience that.
So how do you actually explain to someone that, I mean, I know some people that are transgender, and I know that they would not have gone through all of that had
Just
they
to look
not
attention or something.
truly believed and actually in their heart of hearts felt that way.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to admire anybody that actually has the balls to go, you know what? I have to change. Mm-hmm. I can't live like, I'm not this person. I need to.
And that we anyone can know that feeling when we're doing something bad or something that is not authentic to us, that feeling, or when you're dating somebody that doesn't make you feel good or whatever, that feeling of like, it's not right. They feel the same thing about what's going on with how they want to be conceived or whatever. And a lot of people inside of us, we're like, I'm not that person. I'm this person. And I want you to see that so bad. And like, it's how can we convey who we are in a way that people will respect it sometimes? You know, like sometimes that's something I struggle with.
Don't you think it's the lack of just
communication?
Lack of being able to comprehend or allow another human being to feel something. Like it's almost that you can't be right because you don't feel the way I feel.
Yeah, it's if they can understand. Yeah, if they're this way, then you connect with them. If they're not, then they're different. What you got to say to that is just be you.
Yeah, and you know what?
Yeah.
Give somebody a lot of space for being them. You know, it's to go through all that, you would have to truly believe it. You're not trying to make some ridiculous point to your parents. You're not trying to, you know, that is the truth to you, or you wouldn't go through all of that.
Yeah, I've seen a few friends. I have a gal named Barb Sim, and I don't know if she'll be mad if I said this or not, but she went through this with her family, and she said if I hadn't let my son have the change and like gone through everything I did, he wouldn't be here, and it was bad. He wanted to kill himself for having to be somebody he's not. And I feel like, you guys, how many of us are walking around not being truly who we are just to survive? Yeah. Like that feeling just sucks within. And sometimes I feel that way, where I'm being pulled to do everything for somebody to make people famous or whatever, and it's just like the end result of somebody's career, like I always just want the path of walking it with them or helping them to be the journey, not just the end result of, hey, I'm in the newspaper and they say I'm something. Like, I just feel like, guys, to have a real legacy, which I'm always trying to help people see that is what's up in film, to have that legacy, but you have to be like good to people and, a good artist and not give up. So that's the biggest thing I tell people.
I think I think to me, the people that are like anti-transgender are afraid. They're afraid of the other person, and it's like that. I mean, I can't guarantee you, but I would say that probably transgender people aren't out to hurt anyone else.
I don't think it has anything to do with anybody else but themselves.
No, but people that get that anger level up, to get that angry.
Means they care. Yeah, there's something going on
But
with them,
it's
maybe.
kind of like somebody going on and on about the anti-vax thing. And I just say to him, do what's right for you. But I'm 63. I have taken really shit care of myself.
It's all how you think of it. If you're in the conspiracy mindset or if you're in what the government's saying
Well,
to
the
us.
problem is they paid people to sit at home on the internet, and then they started believing this stuff. And when people first asked me, well, what vaccine did you get? I told them, I got the tracking device, brain bleed.
Yeah, watch out.
I went for that. And I said, I wasn't going to get it. And then I thought,
Might as well.
the government really needs to know where I am at all times. And I'm not sure why, but they got a plan for me. And
Freaked him out, probably.
oh,
You said
yeah,
that.
and at the market, I put up a sign that said, I've been double vaccinated. If you have an opinion, please feel free not to share it with me.
Yeah, that's probably the best, honestly.
And, do what's right for you, but
I have no idea. I have been listening just so much of the conspiracy stuff because, I'm in media and it's fun. Sometimes it's fun to pretend to think about that stuff. You don't know what's really going on behind the scenes, and it'd be quite scary to think if they're actually trying to harm us or do that kind of stuff. I don't know if that's what's happening. I really doubt that, to be honest. But any other vaccine like polio or something, everybody has to get it. So it's just kind of weird because it's this era of time.
yeah, I don't
People
know why
what to
this
think
is
of anything.
affecting people that much.
Well, there's been so much propaganda, not just the COVID disease. I feel like what's happening with the government behind it and how life's changed from it, that's a separate topic. I don't think
Yeah.
it's the same thing, you guys. Like the medical side of it, of how they're making money from vaccines, maybe, or whatever they want to say
Pharmaceutical
about it.
companies don't lose. They don't lose.
Well, they rule the world. They keep us going one pill at a time.
Yeah, that's the whole thing.
Yes,
Is
I don't know.
they don't want you not addicted to opioids because there's no money in that.
I don't think like that, where people are like against us so much in the world like that, but maybe.
I don't think the pharmaceutical companies on the opioid thing, I don't think they're out to get us, but I think they saw
out there,
profit over people for sure.
We won't get too into this, Jeb.
You don't own a pharmaceutical company, do you?
No, not at all.
Not even on an amateur level.
No, not at all.
Okay. Yeah.
I just don't know that much information about everything to even
Right.
say so much about it.
Have you
because
seen
I
the
just
movie
listen.
Conspiracy Theory with Mel Gibson?
No, maybe back in the day, but no.
Right now would be a good rewatch.
Yeah, I will
Yeah.
go.
Because he literally, and turns out, who knows how much acting he was doing, he was really believable as an insane conspiracy theory guy. And I can't think, do you know who else is in that, Jean? No. No, you weren't born then.
I will watch that though. That sounds something I'm into. I love conspiracies. Seriously, everyone that I'm friends with or whatever is more on the opposite side of that. But I have a few friends who do like to tell me what they think. And it's like the research that they've done a lot. It's like behind the scenes. It's like behind the scenes.
Right.
Like people talk about like George Soros or something. This guy, I don't know nothing about anybody, but it just seems kind of like, yeah, there is probably a hierarchy in the government of people that are making the decision. I could see that as a real thing. Like, I guess people, the richest people in the world all together, but do they really get to determine everything our life is coming to? I don't know. Is that fair? Just because they have money?
Well, if they are doing that, it's not fair.
Well, they put all that stuff out, so I'm just like wondering what to think about that. And I'm just trying to, seriously, I'm kind of paranoid. I get scared on my phone even to like just make sure we're all doing good.
Well,
Seriously.
that's what amazes
Tracking
me.
us.
When people say, well, get that shot, they can find you wherever you go.
I don't believe that part. But
They can find you anywhere, anyway. They're tracking every phone.
yeah, with this COVID, when I got off the plane from Romania, right, they make you log in some format to like track that you're not leaving the house. So when I yeah, because I was like, okay, they have our email and they knew there's things that people have said about it, and so I was so scared. I literally like that's how scared the
Do you know how much that
conspiracy
would
is. Like
cost?
it can affect.
That would cost a fortune
Maybe.
to have people sitting around. They got to be tracking. It's kind of like my theory of
They have people come to the house or something if you leave or something. No one came to my house or really gave me a call, but I sat in one place in my living room for like 2 weeks straight after I came home because I was so scared. Like if I go anywhere, I could get in trouble. So I literally didn't leave the house. I know, and that's what I'm saying. Like things.
good for you.
But it scares me.
You know why?
I'm
Because
scared from them.
deep down, you're not Romanian. You're Canadian.
Don't
Only
say that.
Canadians do that.
Being scared from everything.
That's Mike McDonald had a great joke that only Canadians at 3 a.m, when there's not a single person on the street, would wait for the walk sign. And it's true.
Well,
I don't. You know what? I
Asia,
used to go to work at 4 a.m. I didn't wait for stop signs and stoplights. I just drove.
Can't do that anymore. Everything's being recorded in live. Street cameras. Like I'm so. I know
I've
what's
gotten a
going on.
couple of those. And you know what? When the photo radar first came out,
Yeah.
I talked about it being the cops are so lazy they don't even show up for crime anymore. They just get a snapshot. We got this picture of
just
you
as
robbing
good.
a bank. Come on in.
That's pretty smart. Work smarter, not harder.
Yeah. I
In
don't
their
know.
sense, I guess. I don't know.
God bless the police. It's a job I would never do.
No, I wouldn't want to be a police officer either. No.
No,
Not in this era
it's a
of life.
lose-lose.
Yeah.
Like if no matter what you do, you're doing something wrong to somebody. Mm-hmm.
Well, nobody likes cops, guys, because we're scared from them. Me, I'm scared from a cop. Like, I won't even add a cop. If I know somebody's a cop, I won't even add them on Facebook. I'm serious.
Really?
No, forget about it. Because everything's, like it could be pointed or something. I don't know. I'm not even doing anything like that. But I get so scared from just like the stupidest stuff. I'm a pot smoker. So I'm kind of sometimes paranoid from that, maybe. If
You
people
think
would
it's
say
the pot
something.
that's making you paranoid?
No, it's depending on the person. If they, what they want to say about it. You get the mean remarks. Oh, pot smoker, lazy, probably blah, all the things, and they don't know that it's like for pain or what it's for. Just judge it or something. But keeps me sane. Believe me, I try not to do it too much, but. When things are getting really crazy with my mental stability of this industry, Jeb, like I'm up and down all the time due to the job market. Like you do such, when you're on set, it's whoa, prepare, whoa, and then it's done. There's no more anyone.
Stop or go.
Yeah, like you have so much love and so many people collaborating and to do something, and then when it ends and then it's the quiet and you're by yourself again. That's
That's the good part.
That's the parts I hate.
I don't mind being alone.
Yeah, you like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I was on the road forever. Like you really, unless you were someone that was out looking for company
Yeah.
all the
everything.
time. And it's like, what am I going to do? Sit here and talk to you? Like,
Yeah, I know.
and invariably somebody if you just start talking to somebody out of the audience, at some point they're going to say something where you go, there it is. He's an idiot.
There he is.
Yeah, here it comes.
Yeah.
I had a guy telling me all about the conspiracy theory of the whole COVID thing.
Okay.
And I said, you know what you haven't mentioned or haven't thought of on your own? Think about how much money the government is saving by killing old people with COVID, and now they don't have to pay them their Social Security money anymore. And he goes, holy shit, I bet that's it. And I said, you need to get home and put that out on the internet.
Hey, everyone knew that's the reason.
That was the plan.
Yeah, that's pretty evidential. I think everybody knows that now.
Well, you would think I just think they're, easier to get sick.
Well, it's all those opinions. It depends if you're like watching the news and into it, or if you're doing your own research, or what information we're being.
Yeah, but do you think the news is even news anymore?
I don't think it's the real 100% news. No, not at all. They're not showing
It's,
us everything.
well,
Are you kidding me? Why
infotainment.
would they? It's a business as well.
Yeah,
Yeah, like no, they're not telling us everything. Of course not.
it's all about ratings.
Why is like 2 weeks of now you're not getting curb anymore. Oh, now you are getting curb. Everything, there's no consistency or whatever throughout this whole thing.
No, wait
And
a minute. I want to be reelected. Let's give them money again.
let's spend more money for and
Yeah.
just at that time I feel like the world right now, it's just like hard for everyone. No one in that sense is like getting their big payday anymore that is in like the middle class sector. They're trying to ruin the middle class, I feel it is, regardless if they're trying or not to. Taking away people's jobs, that's
Yeah.
our livelihood, and then our home. Like I was one of those people affected, so it's kind of like just trying to keep with the times. Like I feel like when you have to keep changing your lifestyle in your life, it's detrimental to your relationships around you. Like I hope the government knows that people are not doing well, and they need to do something to fix that.
Perfect.
Yeah. I don't know what it is, you guys, but we're still not happy, so help us out.
Okay. I think we'll end it on that one. We should have you back sometime. You're excellent to talk to. And
When the next issue comes out, my cover star, Quinn Teachma, maybe she comes by herself or with me, and we'd love to show
Sure.
you guys the next issue, kind of like ooh, it's out, guys. But hopefully in local stores, it'll be out in December. So we have Justin Bieber and Quinn Teachma.
Justin Bieber, that rings a bell.
Yeah, we got Justin Bieber from CBC, collaborating with CBC.
Nice. All right. Well, Jill, thank you so much for being here.
I can't believe we talked about this deep stuff, Jeb. I'm so thankful to be on the show.
Oh, well, it's supposed to be just a conversation, nothing more. And you had a lot of really good information and thoughts, so thank you for that.
All the things I said, I stand by them, and the things you don't agree with, I don't stand by them. Just kidding.
Yeah, who cares? Like,
Yeah.
it's okay not to agree with somebody.
I get so scared to share who I am sometimes because people be like, "Oh, I don't like that about her now. I don't want to work with her," and I'm like, "Well."
Can I tell you something? Those people that can pick one thing out of your personality or something you said and decide they don't like you,
Yeah,
they're
never
fuckheads.
They never really liked you. Anyway, then.
You don't need them. They're looking to up themselves by downing you, and that makes them shitheads. So,
Yeah, let's be
personal
kind to each other.
opinion, but I'm just thinking that. But all right, once again, where do they find the magazine? Chapters.
I'm here with mag.com, chapters in the new year, and local stores. So on the social media, I'm here with Mag. You can see all the updates, and I'm sure you'll be sharing when we have the news out too, eh?
Perfect, yes. All right. And keep in mind, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram at Sober Not Sane. Like us and watch us on YouTube. Subscribe, please. Listen to us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. And once again, thanks to Liz from the Camera Store for helping us out. And once again, thanks so much for being here, Joe.
Thank you.